Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 2 of Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. First episode was honestly a lot more solid than I thought it would be. You know, I really enjoyed the setup. I really enjoyed that opening sequence. It was extremely intense getting to see that. Again, I don't think that's anything we needed to see, but it was still fun. Also terrifying to actually witness it for once. It definitely laid the groundwork for why the world is so terrified of the Fire Nation. I really like the way they incorporated a lot of the lore into the kind of setup and the lead in to Aang's revelation of being the Avatar, and then the way that kind of certain things have kind of grown over time. I really like the way they kind of showed a lot of that. I think the world building itself was really, really well done. The only hangups I really had at any point in time within the first episode was there was a couple of weird decisions here and there, and there's only one scene that was very unclear about what was kind of happening, and some spotty acting here and there. But for the most part, the majority of it was pretty good. I really enjoyed a lot of it. And with that being the first episode, I hope it just kind of keeps that trend going and maybe even gets better, because sometimes we can start off and the first episode, it's got a lot of setup. There's a lot of things that needs to get out of the way, so sometimes they aren't the most smooth of watches. So I'm hoping this is one of those situations where it just exponentially gets better, and this wasn't best foot forward and it just goes down from here. But like everything else we do here on the channel, I'm still going to give it its fair shake, its fair swing, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it as a fan and try to be as unbiased as possible when talking about the show. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop into this, guys. If you want to see the full-length reaction, as always, you can check those out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch-along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up with the time codes for reacting the entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies we react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage, and try to make it worth your while, so you're going to support the channel. But guys, at the end of the day, really appreciate it. If you enjoy this reaction, at least leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, because it really helps these videos out. With that all said and out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 2, Warriors. Here we go. Again, man, I love the original music. Zuko temper tantrum.
You probably just misplaced it. And keep in mind, the notebook didn't find the Avatar. You did. It is precisely because we are in a more quiet part of the world that we have an advantage. How many places can there be for an Avatar to hide?
I thought they were looking at us. I thought that was a fourth wall break for a second. That made me feel weird.
Maybe something in her shrine will help me control my power before...
You kill someone?
Before it happens again.
Smooth, buddy. But he's also not wrong.
If the world is gonna have any chance, it's gonna need Aang. And you're right. We do have a duty, and it's to protect the Avatar.
You want to protect him, the guy who nearly blew us off the top of this mountain.
It's about more than just helping Aang. Ever since he came into our lives, things have changed for me. Before I met him, I couldn't bend enough water to fill a thimble. And now look what I can do. And that's after a single day. Look around. Look where we are now.
It's a little weird to me that she's attributing her. I mean, while he gave her some good advice, like, I feel weird about her feeling like he's the only reason she got better, and that he's the only reason she will get better. Seems like she's attached to him in order to get stronger. That came off weird to me.
Something's wrong with your bag.
While he was naturally gifted, like, she's still, in her own right, got better without interference. There's our little Momo.
What is that?
A winged lemur.
Yaw.
What's this?
Wait, what?
This scroll has been passed down among the waterbenders of our tribe for generations.
Oh.
You have no idea how hard it's been to keep this from you. But with the Fire Nation hunting for benders, it was just too dangerous for you to have.
You know, honestly, I kind of like that in a way that's like a very real world reflection of, you know, countries that have had their cultures repressed like that, especially with Japan, where martial arts scrolls were burned, collected, and they had to hide them in order to kind of retain the knowledge of their past.
Goodbye, Kiawentiio.
Aww.
I'm sorry.
Aww. That's a nice added moment right there. Giving him a burial, saying your proper goodbyes. It's interesting that we're trying to, our objective currently seems to be to control the Avatar's. My God,
He looks like a Momo, doesn't he?
can't talk.
Like how you look like a Sokka.
Can't argue with that.
Wait, he looks like us. Okay.
Bet you taste like chicken.
Aw. Like that. Cute. But it's interesting that right now the objective seems to be to control the Avatar state when we don't really know what it is right now, as opposed to heading towards the Northern Water Tribe to find a waterbending master.
Calm yourself, Prince Zuko. One thing you must learn is how to get what you want without divulging your true intention.
Which is kind of what he's got very used to.
Most importantly, you need to have sticky rice.
That look of confusion and like thought there with Zuko was actually a nice little subtle touch. He was just like, wait, what? Wait, hold on.
There she is.
Yo. That sounds about right.
Watch out!
Hey!
He's the Avatar!
Ridiculous. There would have been signs if he was the Avatar.
No!
I think that might be a...
Literally him airbending wasn't enough. That was goofy.
For 100 years.
I
Kyoshi
love
Island
the
has remained
costuming
safe
though,
from the
man.
ravages of war by keeping to ourselves.
Yo!
We're not here to cause any trouble. All I want is to learn more about Avatar Kyoshi.
We're not a threat.
Maybe not, but the next visitors might be.
I know you're scared. I don't know what life has been like here. To be honest, I don't know what life has been like anywhere. But where I'm from, people help each other.
No.
But if you can help me, if I can learn to be the Avatar, maybe I could bring a world where people were happier back.
No.
If he is the Avatar, how can we turn our back on him?
Such a fierce warrior, and yet such a kind heart.
Mother.
You're too young to know that there are many in this world who would take advantage of that kind heart.
I'm not too young. I just haven't seen the world.
Been isolated. Protected,
reminded.
shielded. Oh? Little glance there.
Kyoshi herself often benefited from the kindness of strangers. She believed in helping those who could not help themselves.
And fucking up anybody that would stand in the way of that.
It's a big responsibility, all these people's lives in your hands. Personally, I take that responsibility very seriously. I'm the guardian of my village too, so.
Yet you're here.
So, how are you protecting your people if you're here?
What? I'm not.
Oh, foot, meat mouth.
I have to save the world first. Katara, how does it go again? I'm protecting Aang.
Help me. What are my lines? Katara, help. Please. I'm fumbling here.
Before she died, Avatar Kyoshi trained an elite force in her image. One ready to protect not only our homes, but our way of life. And it is now my honor to protect this community and to uphold the values of the Avatar. That is why I'm not just a warrior. I'm a Kyoshi warrior.
Okay.
We are in search of maps and surveillance reports. We're hoping to track schools of jumping shark squids.
Shark squids.
Couldn't have come up with something better.
I'm sure we can track down what you need.
Very kind. Commander...
Zhao, at your service.
Yeah, he didn't buy that shit at all.
Someone needs to put a bell on you.
There's food in the village hall.
Oh, the push and pull. She shot it. She did it.
You know, you should be practicing too. The Avatar needs to master all 4 elements.
Maybe later.
No, he's still keeping it at a distance.
Avoiding practice doesn't mean you'll avoid the responsibility.
No.
It's just Kiawentiio used to be the one who trained me.
It's okay. We'll do this together.
Aww.
Or you could just let me use you for target practice.
Okay, that's good. That's some good motivation. Aww. A little moment where they're kids for a second.
Gotta admit, he has a
Aww.
way with people. That's his real power.
Yo!
Building bridges. That's how
did
he's
it.
gonna be the Avatar.
And donk. Just like from the opening.
Is this what it's like to have people from the outside here?
There's a reason we've avoided that all these years.
We've avoided a lot of things by living the way we do.
God damn, she's hungry.
He may be entertaining, but that doesn't mean he's not dangerous. He's a threat, and the sooner he and his friends are off our island, the better.
He thinks he's found the Avatar.
According to his crew.
Oh, yep.
Discovered him at a small water tribe village.
If Zuko's looking to us for information, it means he thinks he's still in the area. Gather any reports of unusual sightings in the last few days. Anything out of the ordinary, no matter how small. You do it fast.
You fucked up. Oh. Well, I mean, you were from like 5 feet away, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Seriously? Belle, think about it. Made it myself.
Oh.
It's great in combat and hunting and...
Hunting?
Yeah, that's it. Dangerous. Tiger whales, ferociously deadly tiger whales. I can run you through the basics.
Okay. We didn't need to show off.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Us Southern Water Tribe warriors are known more for our hand-to-hand fighting and...
Oh,
Oh, right now?
he's just trying to seem cool. He's not even like trying to show off or showboat or be like condescending. She like, this is what I think affection is. What is? Yeah, she seems like, wait, did I do something wrong? Yeah, she's trying to flirt. What? Honestly, I mean, it's way different, but it's kind of funny, and it's kind of cute.
Did you know she was an orphan? Lived on the streets until she was hired as a house girl for the richest family on the island. She was quiet and kind. No one had a clue she'd become the Avatar.
How'd she go from this to that?
Hey, it's Chen. Chen the Conqueror.
Back home, the other kids used to say I was lucky because I never really had to train. But I did have to train, not to develop my powers, but to keep them under control.
Oh God.
What if I never learn how to control my power? How many people will I hurt?
But imagine what'll happen if you don't even try. According to this, all the previous avatars are incarnations of your past lives. The answers aren't inside here. They're inside you.
Not a huge fan of that. Learning it from a book like that feels just like a cheap way out of it.
Zhao's boat. It's gone.
Zhao? He heard something about a flying cow near Kyoshi Island, so he set sail at dawn.
Oh, shit.
He knows. We have to get there before him.
Hey, he wouldn't even be looking if you guys didn't come poking around like that. God damn, man, they look so good. Those outfits, the choreography, the colors. Yeah. Aww. Deeper. One thing I love about Sokka's journey is while Aang's learning all of the elements of every nation, Sokka learns like all of the non-bending ways of fighting in every nation. Oh. No touchy. That was smooth. Honestly, I I don't dislike what they're doing with those two.
The world needed the Avatar the most, he vanished. He ran.
Like, if they wanted to get rid of the Crescent Island, they could have just done it at the Southern Air Temple within their Avatar chamber.
Avatar Kyoshi, help me.
Jesus. Just like Suki, fucking jump scare people.
3 years. There were times I thought I'd never find the Avatar, but it's almost worse now that I know he's close.
Sometimes hope hurts.
Sometimes hope can be a cruel thing.
Fuck, almost got that. How long have we been here, by the way?
I think you're getting the hang of it.
You need to turn your opponent's power against them.
Thanks, you're a great teacher.
And you're an excellent student. Though I'm sure you were helped by your previous training. You know, as your village's protector.
To be honest, where I'm from, there's not much call for a real warrior.
I think you're a real warrior.
No.
You're not even a bender, and you're the fiercest fighter I've ever met.
Not being a bender means we have to be even better than benders. What matters is not the power inside. It's the will and desire.
Ooh, and you be willing and you been desiring all day long, and your mama gonna be pissed.
I've always wondered what the world outside was like. But I never had the courage to leave. I've always wondered what I'd find. Now I know. The bell.
You hear it too.
Oh, great. Now he's stuck. Also, Kyoshi, much shorter than I would have expected in this.
The Avatar state is a combination of all your past lives focusing their energy through you.
It's dangerous.
If uncontrolled, yes. But it can also be the ultimate weapon. And it can save your life.
Okay.
Yes, I've heard Kyoshi Island has had an admirable history of staying, shall we say, insignificant. Which is why there's been no need for the Fire Nation to get involved in your affairs. I'd hate to see all that change because of an outsider.
That was a very Zhao thing to do, given he wasn't playing a part of this section in the story, in the original.
You won't mind if we take a look ourselves.
I expected as much.
Oh, good God. She's got an arm.
Every Avatar is different. We are shaped by the different demands of our times.
I have to figure this out myself?
That is part of the journey.
What if I hurt someone along the way?
Don't.
And how many have already been hurt because you haven't been here? Run away from your responsibilities again, and even more will be hurt. Being the Avatar means putting your duties above all else. I will show you what will happen if you fail. Tragedy awaits the North, and unless you do something about it, another race of benders will be wiped out just as the air nomads were. You ask me what it means to be the Avatar. It means being a warrior. A mighty, merciless warrior.
Maybe talking to Kyoshi first wasn't the best move. Yo, go Momo! Teamwork, man. Nice.
Your very presence in this world will make things worse. At first, both sides will fight harder because the Avatar has returned. Hope does not come without a cost.
I'm getting through one way or another. What happens to you is your choice.
Avoid your duties any longer, and not only will you fail to save the world, you won't even be able to save this island from the danger you've put them in right now.
My friends.
When you learn that one combo in a video game, this is the only one you spam. What a blast, what a blast, what a blast.
You wanted to know about the power of the Avatar. I will show you what that power can do.
Oh. Oh, we're getting, okay. Okay. You done fucked up, kid. Instead of the Roku moment at the fire temple, we're getting this. Yo! Don't need no comment. God damn. Hey, that's badass. God. These poor guys. They just thought they were gonna wake up today, have a normal little routine, and just go poof, fucking fire stone tornadoed. Ah, they're Fire Nation, it's okay. Hey, that was badass, man. I love Kyoshi, and we didn't get to see enough of her in action. I can't wait for her movie. God, she's ruthless.
There's nothing here that we've lost that can't be replaced. And you've given us something far more valuable.
Sorry, thinking about things that I know were shown in the trailer that haven't happened yet based on where they happen now and what's happening currently.
You've given us something far more valuable in return. A reason to believe again in ourselves and in the Avatar.
No.
I wish we had more time.
I know. I do too. Thank you, Sokka.
For what?
For bringing the world to me.
No. Smooth. Oh, she gave him a fan. Add it to your weapon collection, boy. Dude, again, Aang should have kept one of those. A fan with an airbender would be dangerous.
We need to get to the Northern Water Tribe because something terrible is going to happen there. Something only I can stop.
Or something that'll happen because you're there. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Waterbending masters, they are the best in the world. They could train you.
That should have been why we were going there anyway.
Katara and a flying ball of fur. What more do you need? Really? I feel like I walked into that one.
If your highness had been more forthcoming earlier, we might have avoided this misunderstanding. I hope we can put this behind us.
Of course,
Wow, what a little
Commander.
bitch.
Don't tell anyone. About the Avatar.
Oof.
To your supreme eminence, I have news for you of a critical nature.
Damn. Hockey.
The Avatar has returned.
Nice. The last one, there were very minor differences. This one, there were some big old differences. The revelation about the Avatar state, the communion with Kyoshi, a lot of the stuff going on at the island was a little clunky, and that's not even bringing anything I know over. Just the transference of information, and then the dialogue was a little. And then getting that information from just that book was just a little, I don't know, underwhelming. I also found that I think the acting was a little bit better in this episode. Obviously, when you get like a cast like this, who's stepping into these characters for the first time, sometimes you can have a little bit of growing pains where it takes a little bit of time to settle into the character. What I did really love in this episode, though, was honestly what they did with Sokka and Suki's relationship. I really liked how they built that up and how they played upon him being this person who's out in the world and her being this person who's never been able to step outside of her bubble. And the thrill, the excitement that comes with that, having your life shaken up in that way. You know, I really liked that. And she didn't know how to interact. Like, they put a lot of that awkwardness and earnestness on to her. Honestly, I found it really fucking cute. While he is still, you know, trying to like play up like his role as the warrior of his village, you know, and it's not like ill-intentioned. It's not like he's trying to like one up anybody or whatever. He's not trying to impress necessarily. He's just trying to land on equal footing. Every time they try to check him right back, he can't necessarily meet them at that point. It's a really interesting dynamic because it creates this awkward relationship between these two. You know, he's very much so insecure about his effectiveness in this role as a warrior. He's seen what that looks like outside of his tribe, as well as the stakes outside of his tribe and what people deal with on the regular outside of his tribe. He's trying to like live up to that expectation, but every time she tries to match him along the way, and while she's not intentionally trying to overshadow him, because you can see it in her body language and her reactions, like when she one-ups him in a conversation, or when she one-ups him in a sparring match, or she one-ups him when she did the little fan toss, you know, he takes that hit to his ego, because that's his role. That's what he's defined himself at being. And she's not trying to belittle that, but she's just trying to like connect with him, but she doesn't necessarily know how, because of how she's been raised in this isolation in her own warrior culture. She like takes it very, very seriously. That creates this barrier between these two about how to communicate and how to talk. And while he has to admit that he may not be the warrior he sells himself up to be, or that he believes that he should be, so when she realizes that, she's able to, like, they're able to bring each other down to a level. It's a very different way of achieving the exact same goal. And honestly, I just found it so adorably cute and awkward, and I really dug it, especially with the social issues that Suki's finding herself in, that she just doesn't know how to talk or interact, or, you know, she's just very, very bad at flirting and getting this across. Like, she doesn't know how to deal with these emotions, let alone talk to somebody about these shared experiences, and it creates this fun little back and forth between these two. And then she was like thirsting, dude, like those long gazes when he was taking his shower, and she was just like he didn't know how to react. He was just like covering himself up. The addition of Suki's mother being the head of this village, she was we never met her mother in the cartoon, so this is an addition that was made, and I think it adds to that isolation factor of Suki, of being restricted, overbearing, like, you know, someone who's seen the horrors of the war and is trying to keep their village out of it. You know, this is his first run in, both in the series and in the show so far, with the consequences of his arrival and presence in the world. You know, like Kyoshi did actually put it pretty well here. It's like, your presence is going to cause both sides to fight harder now. This obsession right now with trying to figure out the Avatar state, I don't understand why we're leaning into that right now. That wasn't the mission, that wasn't the stakes, that wasn't the objective when we left the South Pole. You know, it was learning the elements, fulfilling his duty, and moving on. But then we were like, oh, that Avatar thing, I had a little episode. Maybe we should focus on that first. No, I feel like that's like, we're not looking at the right goals here. That feels like just out of left field for what's already been set up. Logically, in a world where the only waterbenders left are in the North Pole, logistically, the excuse that was given in the show itself, in the animated series, which was, well, if we need a waterbending teacher, we're gonna have to go to the North Pole. You already have that set up in that trajectory. We don't need this vision quest. Oh, I see great danger heading towards them. Oh no. Because the only reason that happens is because he's there. So like, I don't know why that was thrown in. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy thing that it just feels so out of place, because the objective was already clear. We didn't need that on top of that. And that could accentuate more what he learned here today, is his presence brings danger. You know, him being at the Northern Water Tribe, in fact, makes it a target. It's already a military target to begin with. They're a stronghold of benders that have been resistant to approach for the length of this war so far. But, you know, having the Avatar there makes that a greater priority to exacerbate that situation and that tension. I don't feel like any of this really helped with that. It just felt I don't know, unnecessary. We combined a couple of different elements of the episodes, like the Fire Sages or the Crescent thing, where he goes to meet Roku, which is what I was kind of thinking of in the middle, because we see Heibai in the trailer, which is how he ended up finding out about needing to go to there to find out about Roku and all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious how Heibai is going to play into things in this, considering we kind of already did some stuff from after that episode and then brought it here. We're already jumbling a lot of storylines together right now. Like, there's no mention of the comment. There was no mention of him needing to do this by a certain time. So we don't have that element of intensity. They tried to force that onto this incident that's going to be coming to the Water Tribe, even though we didn't get a win that's expected to happen. You know, we combine that element of Roku possessing Aang and helping him escape from the firebenders that were there to capture him. It was Zhao and Zuko there, and they combined Zhao and Zuko into this situation, but at Kyoshi Island. And it's interesting enough to have Kyoshi be the one guiding this, because especially if you're going for a more Game of Thronesy vibe, a more serious vibe, Kyoshi's probably the avatar you want to lean into. She's also a huge fan favorite, and she's also fucking ruthless when it comes down to just playing the cards that are being dealt. She's a very strong antithesis to Aang as a character and his personality. And I like that she didn't skirt that. She didn't hide that fact, and that the fact that any advice she could give him is only really relevant to her experiences, which will not validate or back up his. She can just tell him about the powers, how to control it. She tried to give him information on the Avatar state itself. I don't feel that we needed some of that. I like the whole thing about communing with the Avatar spirits, with the temples, though eliminating the fact that what we saw with Zuko and his little totems, that the things that didn't happen with Fire Island and with everything else, you know, the Fire Lord should already know. Zhao sending that letter doesn't, obviously maybe they just removed that from this world, that functionality, even though we saw it with the statue here and we saw it with the statues in Zuko's ship. Little inconsistency. All things considered, in the grand scheme of things, minor gripes. I did find the episode really enjoyable. I like the action yet again. Again, the sets, the production value, and the costumes are fantastic. And honestly, I think one of my favorite elements of this right now is Sokka. Like, he's just so up front and center in a lot of these ways, and he does get a lot of focus in these episodes, and sometimes more than Katara and more than Aang. It's kind of interesting to see it in that light, but he does a really good job. Like, sometimes there's a odd line delivery here and there, but for the most part, he just kind of, I don't know, he's really endearing and fun to watch, and especially as the kind of odd man out in this situation, it's fun seeing the world from his perspective and just kind of being the audience vehicle. He's the R2-D2 and C-3PO of our crew. The waterbending scroll thing, while historically interesting and accurate, did also feel a little out of place, especially considering the dialogue that she had with Sokka back at the Southern Air Temple about her motivations for continuing on. Felt a little off. It took a little bit of that power and earnestness away from Katara's own abilities. That was a little weird. And that's, again, not even like talking about the show or anything like that. I felt like that was a weird move to make in this show, in this context. Kind of makes some of what she says feel a little selfish, or counter to the kind of like air that she's selling. I don't know. It was a little weird. Obviously, this episode had way more major changes than the last one, but for the most part, I did find the episode overall enjoyable. I thought the pacing was great. The music was great. I thought the choreography and the building out of the world was really great. I thought the world building was handled really well, but the way they were trying to move the plot forward didn't feel smooth to me. This guy playing Zhao, I think he's doing a really good job. Even though this dynamic and a lot of these conversations and stuff is completely isolated to this version of the show, a lot of that skeezy underhandedness is very much so felt in this, but also that false bravado, also that kind of air that he puts on where he will sound like he's complimenting you. He will say the words that you think you want to hear, but he does it in such a weird way where you're just like, where is this guy landing? I do feel like this episode did kind of do Uncle dirty, because he's the entire reason Zhao is even in the loop right now. You know, he took Zuko to that port, just sidebarring the whole pirate plot with the scroll. But all that aside, they still made this little pit stop and then brought Zhao in to kind of combine that element of the pirate, you know, the little like market hub, as well as them stopping in at that Fire Nation shipyard to get their ship repaired, and then unfortunately running into Zhao. Slap those two things together. All that aside, the whole lesson here was to go about finding information without exactly telling people what you're looking for or why. Like, it was a training exercise in how to probe for information while keeping your intentions secret. Uncle brought them here, and Uncle initiated this conversation, and his story was awful. Zhao, you know, didn't buy it at all, and did what he did in the show and interviewed the crew and got the truth out of them, and now he's involved. So Uncle bit a big old whoopsie, and it just backfired all completely. Like, he failed at his own lesson. There's some really good scenes between him and Zuko in this show, like in the first episode and even here. It's just that one little hang up, and then the way that ended up paying out in the end it's a little bit of a jab at the man, at least in this iteration, or at least that's this iteration. He's not all-knowing as he may seem, though his advice is sound, and like when he is being there, he is trying to not give it answers, but like talk you towards finding the answer. He wants you to find that answer rather than just giving it to you outright. I like the way they're kind of presenting that element of it, but then this whole like worldly nature of him, they just kind of like fucking shot him in the kneecap, man. You know, obviously getting to see Kyoshi in action was awesome. I really enjoyed all of that. Just thunder stomping that entire brigade. So much fun. There was just some clunky elements in this episode, more so than the last for me. At the end of the day, as its own thing, I still think this does a decent job. Does it hold a candle to the original? No. I do feel like the way that this was executed, this whole like idea about Aang's presence bringing danger, was way better executed in the series itself. They tried to kind of capture a little bit of that, and I think in this context it works, especially with this pacing, but the impact is not as strong as it could have been, especially when you're distracted by this like vision of what's to come and all this sort of stuff. And again, no mention of the comment, when that's the whole thing that was set up in the beginning of this. That needs to be our ticking clock. That needs to be the thing being like, Aang, you need to get this shit done. You need to be on focus, so when he is distracted, when he is keeping these things at distance, that's when the tension sets in. That's when like, Aang, we can't waste this time. It's where the gravity of the situation picks up. There's some decisions in this that just make me go, huh? But there's a bunch of other stuff in this that I'm just like, This was a little bit more of a mixed bag, but at the end of the day, for what it is, I'm on the positive side. So I don't want that to be misconstrued at all. And again, leagues beyond better than what we got with the film. That said, what do you all think? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Share, Ryan, Karen, York, Coruscant, Melito, Rubber, Anguiano, Jeffrey Hale, Jake and Trail, Eric Official, Casey Wood, Russell Crockett, and Justin Smith. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.